And welcome back to Let's Play Persona 3. We finally made it. We're at the final block of Tartarus. While there will still be a little bit more of Tartarus to go after we finish our exploration for these set of Persona 3 or Tartarus videos, there is otherwise not really anything notable past the endpoint for the block we're going to. So yeah, we're finally here. We're at the end. Just taking it all in. Can't believe we've made it this far. Couple of miscellaneous points that I'd like to go over before we get to exploring. Only one new quest opens up to us this month, and I've accepted the ones that I plan to complete before I leave Tartarus, or rather finish off Tartarus for these section of videos. We can get the platinum medals now, which we've had that access to that for a while. I'm going to be finishing off the fusion requests because there is a very, very important reward for completing them. And finally, the main new quest, retrieve the bloody button from the Reaper. It's gonna be a little bit before we can do this one. Even though this is the last bit of Tartarus exploration that we need to do, there is quite a bit of training I need to do to get ready for the final boss, and the Reaper is comparable in power to the final boss, though the fight itself is nowhere near as long or complicated. You do want to be around the same levels you'd take on the final boss, which, for your, if you're curious, the level we'll want to be at for the final boss is 80. As you can see, we're 66 right now, so we've got a little bit left to go. The other main point I'd like to go over is our new social link, the Nyx Annihilation Team. I haven't really gone over this, but you can click on your social links to get more details about them, and for ones that represent a group, you can see the individual members that make up the group here. So yeah, we can see everybody present within the social link. Now, in future versions of the game, there is actually a distinction of this link that isn't present in this version of the game that I'll go over when we actually check out what's going on in those versions of the game, which is going to be right now, because I have a little bit of a walk back to Adama. We're going to be starting our expedition out in FES, because that just feels appropriate. Over in Persona 3 Portable, Aegis is finally back, and we've got our full-made... huh? What's that? Paradigm door? Oh yeah, didn't Theodore mention something about this? Well, why don't we check this out before making our way out into Tartarus proper? Is this the door that Theo was talking about? He mentioned a sister. We decided to open the door. Whoa, there are many doors. Someone is standing there. It was good of you to come. I am Margaret. I am the one who rules over power. Will that description help you understand? Not at all, lady. I've heard a lot about you. I thought it was time I saw you with my own eyes. This is the Vision Quest Hall. It's a world inside of you that I've prepared. A world within me? I've prepared various contests for you here, each one in accordance with your memories. Do you remember the giant shadows you fought so far? Here, you will be able to fight them again, just as you did the first time. And... just like then? I just told you. These were made from your memories. I think you'll understand faster if you open the first door rather than stand here asking questions. Well, actually, why did you do this? Think of it as my challenge to you. You have the freedom to choose whether or not you answer the questions posed here. Some are quite difficult. I won't think less of you for retreating. Now, open the doors of your own free will, and after you find an answer to each question, well, but that would be telling. In this hall are many tests prepared by Margaret. All questions will be answered by defeating the enemy. Very easy questions, then. Once you answer a question, you may claim a reward. What awaits you by defeating all of them? Prepare yourself. So, this is the Vision Quest Chamber. Now, this is something that technically exists in Persona 3 FES, and later on, Reload, but it's completely different in function in Portable. Just a chance to reuse some assets, I suppose. This is actually a bit of Portable exclusive content in execution, though. These doors contain all of the full moon shadows that we've defeated throughout the game, and they are juiced up to be a more relevant challenge for endgame level characters. You don't specifically need to be around level 80 to take on all of these, but that's the recommended level I'd give you to be able to clear all of them without too much issue. These are all final boss tier versions of the Full Moon Shadows. There's also some party restrictions on them, where you can only use the characters that were available for said fight. In certain cases, that means just outright party restrictions, such as only being able to use Yukari and Junpei in the Priestess Door, only being able to use Junpei and Akihiko in the Emperor and Empress Door, so on and so forth. Beyond the Full Moon Shadow challenges, we've also got these doors here. The Power Door, the Magic Door, the Resistance Door, the Speed Door, and the Luck Door. These are unique puzzle fights that challenge you to figure out what the exact script for the battle is, and use the skills, personae, and party members available to you to come up with a solution for the fight. Fortunately, there's a guide out there with a play-by-play script for each puzzle battle, so I don't have to slam my head against these trying to find something that works, which is good, because some of these are pretty annoying in execution. Regardless, we're not going to be doing that right now, because like I said, most of them are going to require a final boss tier party in order to take them on. The puzzle doors give you a set loadout that is independent of your level, so you can take those on whenever. There are some very, very good rewards for clearing those doors, so we'll definitely want to take care of those. Beyond that, let's get our party set up here. We've got the girl squad back together. Get them in the right order. Not you, Akihiko. You're not coming along here. Get Mitsuru along, get Aigus along, and let's go over what's going on in Reload. Over in Reload, one thing I'd like to show is the Nyx Annihilation Team Judgment social link. You'll notice, if you look at the list, that Shinji is still located among the roster, including in the Fool link as well. Gone, but not forgotten. This was a change that was introduced in Portable. I was too distracted by the Desert of Doors to remember to show it off there, but I can show it off here. I think it's a nice little detail. Regardless, before we get into exploring Tartarus, I was finally able to fuse an Adavaka, so I created a Loki that has all the auto buffs plus life aid, and he also, of course, has his single target spells, so occasionally I can just pop weaknesses with him. Some other interesting things I made, well, not really too much. I picked up Futsunushi, who picks up some pretty good skills. He also has all my buffs and Debilitate, so that's fine there. Otherwise, mostly running the same stuff here. I took some time to gather some major Arcana cards, though I did not get Arcana Burst this time. I didn't really feel like it was necessary. I got the ones I cared about, such as an Instance of Justice, plus some HP and SP Razors, and I also farmed out a Grand Clock to get Aigus and Yukari brought up to speed. Aigus had to sit last month out, so I think we'll just bring her along for everything, and we'll also just go through the roster as we advance, starting with Yukari and Junpei, because they were the ones who brought us to this rodeo. With that established, let's get into it. Alright, for the last time, let's clear the way. The path to the next floor is blocked, but the pathway is becoming unobstructed. We can finally leave this rainbow hellscape behind and move on to something that's a little more pleasant on the eyes. And, of course, we also have to clear the way in Portable. The path to the next floor is blocked, but unobstructed. Alrighty, finally. And finally, time to ascend to Adama in Persona 3 Reload. Here it is. Please watch out. One last staircase ascends. A little unnecessary and ostentatious, but it looks kinda cool. Looks like the shaking has subsided. Is everyone alright? The path towards the staircase is opened up. You can advance further now. We don't know what's waiting ahead, so be careful going forward. Stay tuned for more from the mighty Junpei. Indeed, indeed. Alright, let's get into it. And we've made it to Block 6, Adama. Hold on, I'll scan the upcoming floors. There's a powerful enemy on the 220th floor. Oh wait. It seems there aren't that many left of them left. Only around 5 more. We're almost to the top. We can do this together. And immediately upon reaching this floor, a mysterious voice rings in your head. Thou art I, and I am thou. Thou shalt have her blessing when thou choosest to create a persona of the Judgment Arcana. Yes, the Judgment Arcana, as mentioned earlier, goes up as we ascend Tartarus. It'll always go up when we defeat a boss, and there are certain floors we'll reach where it'll also go up. This first one is, of course, just handed to us. As soon as we enter Adama, we get a level up in the Judgment social link. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Let's get to work on some of the enemies here. The enemies in Adama will have 10 cards available if you happen to be so lucky, and they give great experience as well as having some of the rarest gems in the game. Here we've got Bigoted Maya and Onen Musha. Both of these guys are actually weak to fire, which, works well for my game plan. Let's see, they have around 400 HP. The only other thing to keep in mind is that the Bigoted Mayas are strong against the Lek if you are focusing hard on using Odin. This is why it's a good idea to have multiple elemental specialists. You kind of check everything with the combination of certain Odin, though it's not a terrible idea to have Norn around, just in case. But yeah, hopefully we're lucky and we'll get a 10 card here. No 10 card, but there is a 9 card. Note that not that persona that we can't draw. 9 of coins, anyway. That is one that we'll actually want to fuse later, but we need to be level 69. Nice for us to do that. I do want to hit, I want to say it's level 70, but it might be level 72 within the course of this exploration, which should be pretty easy to do as we ascend higher to the floors. The specific levels that I'd absolutely want to hit while I'm exploring this is level 68 and 69, though, both for fusion-related purposes. Anyways, you can get some good money on this floor, which is handy to know, but, of course, we'd have to walk through Haraba in order to make our way back here, so not a great example of a payday floor. I'll definitely want to be taking these down in my notes. Once we get to the next checkpoint, that'll definitely be more handy to keep in mind. There's something different about this floor. The enemies are getting stronger too. Please be careful. I wish Fuka would come up with some new material, honestly. She's been saying the same things when we get to interstitial floors throughout the entire game. Alright, let's see if we can't get a quick whack on this guy. See if we got a new enemy here. And indeed we do. A couple new enemies, actually. Amenti Ravens. Let's see. These guys repel fire, but are weak to Elec. They are also strong against wind, but that's neither here nor there. This guy over here is the Green Sigil. He actually is weak to fire and drains Elec, so we'll want to switch between our options here. Of course, I've got Ragnarok for just such an occasion. We'll torch the Green Sigil here, and then switch over to Odin to mop up the rest of these guys. Sometimes you get these annoying combinations. They also check Norn. If only we had a good ice user. Sadly, the best ice user in the game who has the tier 4 ice spell is well beyond the level range you'll actually reach to use her within conventional gameplay. Let's see. Hey, a 9 of Wands. Very nice. This will give us a big EXP boost. 2.8x multiplier. Once we get to those 10 cards, it's going to be 10x. Yes, you can start getting rubies here. Very helpful in Persona 3 Portable in particular.
Junpei is leveled up.
Can't speak over Junpei when he's leveled up. He's so excited to let us know. Let's hit this guy and see what treasure we got here. Oh, and got some new enemies here. 2 more, in fact. We've got the Slaughter Drive and the Death Dice. Slaughter Drive has no resistances, but is weak to ice, so that's helpful for us. Death Dice nullifies fire, is weak to ice. Did I say ice for the the Slaughter Drive? I meant Elec. Repels wind, is strong against light and darkness, but he has no resistance to Elec, so we can just use Odin to mop up these guys. Now that I've capped out his magic as well, and we've got the combo of Elec Boost and Elec Amp, it is just no problem to deal with these guys. Let's see here. We'll definitely want that 8 of Wands. It's in the 3rd slot now. And then into the 1st slot. Alright, that was easy enough. Apologies if you hear something hitting the table. I'm still working through my morning coffee here.
My skills have improved.
I'm glad for you, Akihiko. So happy for him. Let's see a bead. Can't necessarily say this is a junk floor, but I do not feel like searching for the other chest to confirm if it has anything interesting on it. Again, we're not going to really return to these floors for the purposes of farming, since we do have to cut through Haraba. But when it comes to getting money, Adama is definitely the place to go for money farming. Once you've leveled past the enemies here, not only are they very easy to kill, the chests in here have a high tendency to give 200 to 300k in yen, making it very quick to build up your finances.
Yes. My skill level has increased.
Happy for you, Ken. Also, we got that yen boost. I got a 9 card there, and I got 140k yen off of it. I think that's like double, because usually you get like around 60 to 70k off of the 9 cards. Funnily enough, the 10 and the 9s, there's actually not that much of a difference between the money they yield. They give pretty similar payouts, though the 10 card tends to give closer to what the high range for a 9 card is. I think it's a good time for a little enemy montage in Persona 3 Reload, wherever I decide to stick this. So first off, let's get to the bigoted Mayas that are vulnerable to light, and we've also got the Minty Ravens. In this version of the game, they are vulnerable to Pierce and Darkness. So, that works out pretty conveniently for our team right here, more than capable of striking every single weakness. I do also have the Priestess Arcana card, so my all-out attacks are a little bit stronger. Always a helpful thing to have going. Let's see here. Get the Makoha fired off, and we are ready to take these guys out. Does that one reflect light damage? No, doesn't do anything to light damage. I'll admit I did not look that closely at its weakness, or its resistances rather. Regardless, this should take them all out. Powerful start to begin with. We've got our strong shadow for the floor, the Divine Mother, or I should say block. For Adama, we've got the Divine Mother. She's pretty annoying. No weaknesses, some decent resistances there, particularly walling out Akihiko's magic, though that doesn't help her against the Theurgy. And she also has ailment skills that she just loves to drive you nuts with. Fortunately, we have multi-target status cures, so I don't really have to worry too much about that. I gotta keep remembering to pass my Abridi necklace around. While we're here, we may as well show off Aegis's new Theurgy. I've got full buffs and debuffs up on everyone, so this should deal some pretty decent damage.
Win. Good work out there.
Not too bad, not too bad. That's honestly not that strong. It actually has the same base power as Junpei's Hack and Blast, but it's still pretty good power. Pretty good power without putting Aegis into an uncontrollable state. Heading up next, we've got our first Monad door for the area. Let's see what we get here. Got a fancy curved path for this. The enemy appears to be significantly stronger than average. Awaiting your orders. Let's go in and let's kill. Alright, come and get me. And once again, we've got a knight. We've been dealing with so many of these guys. Let me see here. You know what? I don't know if I've shown off Yukari's Tranquility yet. It's not going to be super great here, but let's check it out.
It'll all be okay. Together, we can't lose.
May as well bulk everybody up. Take the opportunity there. Let's see. Heat Riser. I can just counter that with Debilitate. Obviously, I'm not going to get the full benefit of using Debilitate on him because of that. But still, it's a pretty easy thing to just deal with. It's not quite as effective as Deikija, because remember, Debilitate is single targeting. Let's see here. Do I take a risk with Brave Blade? Yeah, let's take a risk with Brave Blade. Why not? Also, I've elected to remove Agidine from Junpei's moveset, because it really doesn't do that much for him. If I ever need any fire coverage from him, you know, I can just use Blaze of Life. Saw that one coming, but hey, these things happen. Let's see here. He is not immune to wind. Do I try to get another Debilitate setup on him so I do more damage? I think it would be prudent to do that, so let's instead... Can he be poisoned? Just for the heck of it, since we still got it on our skill list. See if we can't make that work for us. Of course. Kind of a shame, honestly. Poison does actually work pretty well in some Persona games. It was reasonably effective in Persona 4. I used it for a couple fights in that game. Let's debilitate this guy, make him yet weaker, and let's have Junpei wing the Brave Blade. Junpei has decent odds of landing crits now, and not always super helpful with that, but every now and again. Aegis has access to Akasha Arts, which is also a decently consistent crit skill itself. Let's have Yukari benefit from her self-buff here by casting Gardine. Pretty good, pretty good. Mabufudine coming through, and I'm not using anything that is weak to that, so we're all fine there. Instead of using my Theurgy, I'm just gonna go for Phanta Ray here. This should deal good enough damage with the boosts we've got in. All the buffs, the debuffs, and of course, the Concentrate. On the right teams, Tranquility can be just as powerful as Power Howling, but I find Power Howling to be a bit more consistent on the whole. Also, this is the most useless Major Arcana card in the game, and it's really annoying when it shows up. Next up, we have the reload versions of the Doom Sword. This guy is pretty durable, resists to most physical skills, but vulnerable to fire and darkness. Over here, we've got Royal Dancers, another annoying enemy type that likes to spam Sexy Dance on you. Vulnerable to wind, as well as strike-based skills. So, you know, Aegis will do pretty well here. They're all distressed, though, so let's see. What was the Bigoted Maya's weak to again? Light skills. So let's pop them with the light skill and pass it over to Junpei to go for just a nice, simple Deathbound. Let's see, do I got anybody with a single target light skill? I don't think I do, so just gonna have to go for the Makoha here. Unfortunately going to pop most of the distress that's going on here, but that's not the end of the world. Let's send it on over to Junpei here. Let's see, just for the sake of certainty, let's get this one knocked down real quick. Alright. And then we can do a nice Deathbound. Junpei is due to learn. Alright, they're immune to slash. Silly me, silly me. Let's see. May as well just blast them with that while they're already down. Yeah, this is an annoying thing about getting the enemy's weaknesses scanned, is you leave yourself vulnerable to having to actually fight them, which is, you know, just not the most annoying thing in the world. It's so much more fun to just blast them and take them out in a single turn, but it's what I gotta do if I want to get these weaknesses logged, so that's what we're gonna go for. Alright, I'm not sure if my all-out attack will kill him, but we'll go for it anyway. You know, I got rid of Junpei's Agidine and immediately ran into something where it would have been slightly useful to help it, have against it. Not sure if Yukari being charmed there, or not being charmed. There we go! This is what makes Charm famous for being obnoxious to deal with, but that's okay. What we'll do here is, what is this guy's resistance to pierce attacks again? He is neutral to those, so what we're going to do here is we're going to pass over to Aegis. Aegis now has access to Primal Force, which is quite potent in her hands, particularly if you have a Pierce boosting accessory on her, like I do, plus, you know, her ability to... or rather, her innate Fizz boost ability. Vile Assault? Yeah, just look at the comparison there. Granted, Aegis has gotten quite a few stat boosts there, so it's not the most accurate comparison. Made it to level 67 there. We'll be going faster and faster as we ascend higher into Adama. Again, a lot of the enemies here give very, very generous EXP payouts, particularly if you can get those 10 of Wands. You get a triple multiplier to, well, no, not a triple, a 4x multiplier. I always get mixed up with that when I'm working with percentages. No, wait, no, I was right. It's triple in this game. I'm getting the multipliers mixed up between Persona 3 FES and Portable. I've explained this a couple times, but since we need stuff to fill the dead air as I explore around here, what's in this treasure chest? Ooh, this is a payday floor. Nice. Toby Badaru will sell for a good amount of money, but the wand cards in Persona 3 Portable had their EXP multiplier bumped up by 100%, or had a flat multiplier added to them. So originally in this version of the game, a Wand of Ones would give you a 1.2x experience multiplier. In 3, it's a 2.2x. Needless to say, with such serious multipliers applied to the EXP, especially if you take advantage of going through Tartarus with a small team, oh, that's a disaster. But yeah, if you take advantage of going through Tartarus with a undersized team, you can really rack up the levels really quickly. I took advantage of that for getting to level 70 with the Femc, so that we could have access to Velvel Maruga for this section of Tartarus. You know, it'd be most useful to us now to have that, rather than after I do all the tough fighting. In particular, that 10 endurance bonus from the Velvet Maruga will be very helpful, as your only option for boosting endurance outside of leveling up your personae is using stat boosting cards. There's no arcade game to boost that. Ditto for luck, but luck also has the benefit that every stat boosting card causes it to go up, so that's pretty helpful there. Daisojo getting another level up, even though I haven't had much reason to use him in quite some time. It just hasn't been his day, but that is okay. He put in enough work for me in Nocturne. Such a good demon in that game. The enemy is on the next floor. Please be careful. This next upcoming enemy shouldn't be too bad. Actually, I'm going to take a look at something with Junpei here. While I'm just thinking of it, I don't really need to make any serious equipment adjustments for my team, but let me see here. Yes, I actually want to give him his much weaker basic katana here, just to patch out his weakness. It'll be important for this upcoming fight, so that's why I'm doing that there. Let's just check the treasure here. Nice little unique type of room here in Adama with these little ramps that just wrap around the room. I just think they look neat. Okay. Got a nice endurance bonus from the shuffle time there. A low amount of yen, but knowing that there's money on this floor does mean that it's a payday floor, so you know what? I will write it down. Almost forgot to write down 218 as well. Yeah, that's, it's nice when you have those densely clustered payday floors, but again, we have to cut through Haraba to get here, so not that useful to me. We've got 3 enemies in the center. This first battle that we're going to come across isn't too complicated, but you don't want to be careless, so I'm going to go back and save, and let's get into the fights. Alrighty, we're all set to go. Let's get into the battle with these guys right up here.
It seems you have to defeat this one to move on.
Wow, astute observation, Fuka. I couldn't do it without you. Okay, what I'm gonna want to do here is, first off, obviously scan these guys so my party members know what to do. I'm gonna have Akiko, actually, I got these guys set up just the way I want them. These guys attack with a pretty simple pattern. They will just rotate through single target elemental spells, blasting at random party members. We don't have a way to keep up the offense with the protagonist and still cover his weakness, so I want my team to be on standby for healing, just in case anything particularly nasty gets thrown my way. Otherwise, if nothing bad happens, we can just have them rush through and deal some damage for us. They themselves are not immune to elemental spells, so we're good to deal some pretty good damage there. I'll let Junpei make his choices on what physical attacks he should use. Luckily, they're being very dumb and going after Akihiko. Okay, Blade of Fury. Unfortunately, we don't have Vorpal Blade on him yet, but he's still doing some pretty good damage there. Okay, that's not too bad. I'm actually going to have Ken just go for a whack there with the Gibalog, and then we will go for another Maragi-Dine. This fight can be a little scary sometimes, but if you have a way to keep up your offense while still covering your own weakness, then it's obviously no problem. That's a very questionable decision there, Akihiko, but hey, let him have his fun. Okay, here comes the Bufudines, but we've got Akihiko equipped with gloves that protect him against that. Junpei's Blade of Fury here should take out at least one of these guys. Yes! Matter of fact, it did. Would definitely like to see
That wasn't good.
Vorpal Blade on him. Junpei can never really benefit from the great bonus of Vorpal Blade, but the raw damage of it is so much higher than any other multi-targeting slash skill, it hardly matters or impedes him too much. The only ways to intentionally get the great condition onto Junpei are to either go on a specific day where he's feeling great, or use the Inari Sushi. Also note that we get 15 beads for defeating this boss fight. This is meant to give you a little bit of help for the bonus boss, if you're going for it through this playthrough, so keep this in mind. Over to Portable, basically running the same strategy as I was in FES. In fact, it should even be more effective, because we've got Mitsuru to pop off with powerful Mabufudines, and, well, actually, I think it's still Mabufula, but we've also got Yukari, just better magic users all around. I forget how vulnerable these guys are to physical attacks, but hey, if Aegis' Heat Wave works on them, that is also nice. Because I do not have Balmung, I have a lot less HP to work with on the Fency, so I made sure to equip her with the Spirit Bracers, just to give myself a little bit of insurance in case I get unlucky, because she's the only one whose weakness I currently have no way of patching out. Anyway.
It seems you have to defeat this one to move on.
What a stupid comment. Thank you, Fuka. I'm sorry. I'm being mean there. That's a little judgmental. It's just a very silly thing to say. I would have never guessed that one. Anyway, we're just gonna pop off with our Miragi Dines. Hope a Bufudine doesn't get winged my way, but it's not the end of the world if that does happen. These guys can often be pretty content to just do stupid things like juice up Yukari and Mitsuru by hitting their nullifications. Makes them feel extra motivated. I would have done well to have Odin equipped there. Okay, so let's see. These guys don't seem to be resistant to any form of physical attack, so we'll just go right into the heat waves here. No crit, I'm afraid, which would be nice if we did get that. Nice, hey! I like it when they do that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're still rocking Mabufula for Mitsuru, but hey, she's got a good combo of Ice Boost and the Varuna Bracers, so that works out pretty decently for her, if nothing else. We should be able to go through these guys in just a matter of a couple turns. Aigis is still a little under-leveled as far as stats go for us at this point. We'll be able to catch her up pretty soon once we get up to, well, not pretty soon, but in a couple of floor sets, because the EXP that the enemies award once you get past the 3rd Guardian really starts to skyrocket, and it's pretty awesome.
Enemy is still alive.
Alright. Not having particularly bad luck here. It's all going pretty well. The only thing that would be nice is if Mitsuru had the higher tier ice magic there. Mabufudine really does level up her damage quite a bit, so a bit disappointing that she's not able to hit harder. But hey, that could have gone worse if they decided to wing some Bufudines at the Femc, but I did have some accounting for that with the Spirit Bracers. Not bad, not bad. Alright, let's get into the reload battle. I'm not suspecting this one is going to be too particularly difficult, because we are quite potent at this point. Yes, they are strong on paper, Fuka, but we also have quite a bit going for ourselves. I'll give it everything I got, so let's work together. Okay, we've got the Obsessive Sand here. Let's go for, what's he gonna... I always forget. What are my controls here? Right. I was trying to remember what the button is to see who goes next. The controls are so wildly different from this version and the other two versions, and those are the ones that I've played for more than a few hours recently, so it's easy for me to get mixed up there. Once again, we'll switch over to Futsunushi to get our damage boot or our debilitate in, and then we will just tee off with the best things we have at our disposal. I haven't set up Junpei for using Blaze of Life, so we'll just go for a Hack and Blast here. It should still do pretty good damage for him. Unfortunately, no luck with the crit there. Ditto for Aigis, we're just gonna have her go in with maximum firepower, and we should be able to take this guy out pretty quickly within our next turn. You love to see it. You love to see it. This guy's already almost down. Let's, just for the sake of it, scan him real quick to see what we're dealing with. And physical attacks are indeed the way to go here. So, you know what, Yukari? Put that bow to use for once. There we go. Not too bad, honestly. Alright, get our rewards here. And there you have it. There's no problem for us. Ryoji was saying there's no way we could win. But the way things are going, this will be a cakewalk. I'm just kidding. But it'd be sweet, though. We'll see. Hey, you know what? It might just be a cakewalk, actually. Even after all that doom and gloom about how we're gonna lose, you're not even phased. You're something else, man. You might even give me a run for my money who's MVP. Don't get me wrong, I know he was serious when he said we couldn't beat Nyx. So I'm gonna laugh my ass off when we prove him wrong! Hell yeah. I can sense everyone's strength and resolve as we head into the final battle. Naturally, we get our judgment rank ups here. We also had Fuka's at the start, once again, so we're rank 3 in reload now. Let's go grab our rewards and then continue on in FES. Alright, let's keep going. Gonna nail it in the next battle, too. Alright, let's check out what we've got on this floor. Over this way.
Hey, doesn't that chest look kind of different from the others?
It looks valuable, Yukari. Let's see, we got Hanzo's Sandal. Hey, sick armor. I think it'd help bring out my inner charm, you know? I'm going to look at it later, Junpei. Okay, and I am actually very light on Twilight Fragments from my farming earlier, so hopefully I'm able to do this without too much issue. Antimatter Cannon. Let's actually take a look at what that does for Aegis, if it's anything good. Let's see, the Rocket Punch, oh wow. Yeah, may as well. Hey, Pierce Boost, wow. So I can get rid of the Pierce Bracers for now. Don't have the upgraded variant of that for Aegis, so let's give her the Pendant of Unity, why not? Cool stuff, cool stuff. I think that's going to be the final weapon for Aegis for this playthrough. Cutting back into FES now, of course we've got our Judgment Social Link rank up, and now we can make it. Keep it up. And like I said earlier, every boss defeat will coincide with a rank up for us. Our next boss will be at floor 228, so we better start making our way there. Thou shalt have our blessing when thou choosest to create a persona of the Judgment Arcana. It's gonna be sad when we're not seeing this message pop up anymore in FES. It's probably for the best that they streamline that. Regardless, now we can get 2 extra levels when fusing Judgment Personae. Not that really have any reason to do that. Now that we've defeated that boss, what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to take Junpei's sword back and give him Leviathan, because we don't really need his weakness covered anymore. It was just that particular fight where it might have been a problem if he didn't have that kind of coverage there for himself. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm also going to take Ken here. I've got Ken on debug, but I think for flexibility's purposes, I'd rather have him on the Gungnir now, so we're going to, let's see, there it is, and we can take the Value Bracers away from him. We don't have Drop Near, right? No, we don't, so, you know what, Berserker Seal, nice little extra bit of option there. Means that he doesn't have the strongest Zeodynes possible, but if we need that, we've got Akihiko for it. On to the next floor we go. Now, I don't believe there are too many payday floors between floor 220 and 228, but since that is a direct route into Adama, and it's a decently sized stretch of floors, it's still got enough that I think this is probably the best place to go for farming for money. Remember that the treasure pool is kind of block-specific rather than floor-specific, so, ooh, nice, yes. So we can expect to see treasures like this on floor 221 or floor 250. It doesn't really matter as far as Adama is concerned, so you may as well do your treasure hunting on floors with really weak, easy-to-scare enemies. Speaking of easy-to-scare enemies, you know, I think I unequipped my speed enhancer for the boss fight on the protagonist. No, I didn't. I kept it on. Okay. I was looking through to see if I had any good accessories that would help him out in that battle, and I really didn't, so I just decided, you know what, forget it. We'll just go on with it, even if it's redundant with Raphael. I'm opting to actually explore this floor and find the second treasure chest, because we are going to be needing quite a bit of money. We are going to be making many, many compendium purchases before the game is over. In particular, there's an item-bearing persona that we are going to be pulling out of the compendium at least 4 times. Probably less in Portable, but definitely 4 times in FES. Well, actually, no, more like 3, because once I have the initial fusion, I won't really need to pull them out more than 3 times. Oh, I was hoping somebody else got a level up there. Hey, 200k. Gonna go very, very quickly. Yeah, there's a specific accessory I need that is carried by a not super expensive, but he's still going to be level 70, actually level 73 when we register him, and that is definitely going to rack up some expense once we pull him out more than once. Take me some time to figure out where it is. That is okay, Fuka. I already know. I have the benefit of having played this game before. We'll, once again, look for a chest here, see what we've got on this floor, and then we can bail. Luckily, we already know where the stairs are, so I'm able to get out of here pretty quickly. Moving on from that, you know, I had a thought, and now I've just lost what I was going to say. Alright, it came back to me. What I was gonna say is that I'm not sure if we'll be able to get the rare form side quest for getting the platinum medals completed within the scope of these videos. I may have to just go in to Tartarus on my own time to farm those out, because you don't typically run into rare forms on your first run of a floor. They're much more likely to spawn when you're making a return trip, I've noticed. It seems to be true for FES and portable. A bit more, they're a bit less scarce in reload. We've been coming across them throughout natural exploration a lot more often. It's kind of weird to see, like, 20k from a 6 of coins. This doubling effect for the money is actually kind of nice, and I didn't know about it until I just happened to get it from the shrine when I wanted to demonstrate it. The one I was hoping to get was the item drop rate double.
There's one enemy. Attack.
And while we're just waiting to get into the boss fight in Persona 3 Portable, I may as well go over an enemy that I did not come across while I was recording for FES, the Death Castle. This is the strong, singular enemy of this section of Adama. He has 1170 HP, but is relatively weak to wind skills. And hey, conveniently, we just so happen to max out a social link that gets us a pretty potent wind persona. Norn is not quite on the tier of Odin and Cert yet, but she'll get there. She'll get there. Honestly, it probably would be smarter for me to just do double Phanta Ray, then let Yukari finish it off with a Garudine. Best to not mess around with these guys when you counter them. Or, hey, the bonus damage from downing them is probably good enough on its own. Nice, nice.
We have the overhead. Do your best to take it down.
We've got our rare form for this floor, and like previous ones, it is completely immune to anything. You need a Theurgy to take it out, so our only real option is to just get to somebody's turn who does have a Theurgy, and hey, while we're working on it, we can also try and hit him with stuff like debuffs, use status buffs to try and just farm some Theurgy for Akihiko and Mitsuru, hopefully get them, you know, revved up for the next major encounter that we go into. You can keep charging up Akihiko a bit by just applying more buffs, I think, although it didn't look like that did too much for him. Regardless, let's go over to Siegfried here, and let's just use Scarlet Havoc to get rid of this guy. Can get some pretty good rewards from the rare forms at this stage of the game, and I do, of course, have the Rarity Fortune in play, so I'm going to be seeing more of these guys, ideally. If you see them without any Theurgy charge, try and avoid them and get into other random encounters until you have it ready. I may as well take this final card to get an Arcana Burst, and I can take this Scotty for no loss. We're going to start seeing newer varieties of cards in Persona 3 Reload. There is indeed a Queen card and King card. The King card, of course, was in Vanilla and FES, what you saw when you obtained an item from a persona. Alright, we've got our next monad enemy to deal with. The enemy appears to be significantly stronger than average. We're gonna kill it, Aigis. Don't worry, don't worry. You're too paranoid about these things. Let's work together on this, and I'll give this my all as well. Indeed, indeed. So, what do we got here? The Fanatic Tower. Akihiko now has God's Hand at his disposal, so you know what? Why don't we fish for a crit here and see if we don't get lucky. Didn't get lucky on that, but that is A-okay. I've got Mitsuru hooked up with the Amriti necklace, so her damage has actually gone down quite a bit. And as you can see, her options are actually slightly constrained as one of the less populous skill lists of characters at this stage of the game. May as well see if Eerie Sound works, but it probably does not. Not holding my breath for that one, yeah. Not surprising, not surprising. Regardless, we have other means to deal with this guy, such as using Debilitate on him. Oh, you know, I keep meaning to use a status or an SP restore on Fuka, and it just keeps slipping my mind to do that. Let's go for a Primal Force here. Ooh, nice. Get a solid crit coming out from Aigis here. Oh, he's just weak to it. Never mind. Alright, another Primal Force. Remember that all-out attacks are kind of junk in big fights at this point in the game. You can always do more by using a skill. Nice, we have another Theurgy in the bank for later. And hey, I was just saying it earlier, we got Queen cards here, heck yeah. Got another new enemy here, Death Dice. Let's see, these guys are weak to Elec, as you'd expect. And unfortunately for this guy, he's staring down Akihiko, so he's about to just get absolutely blown out here. Oh, wow. Didn't even need to go for the all-out attack there. Excellent work, Akihiko. Kind of bad that we didn't go for it, because, well, we missed shuffle time. Next up, we have the reload variant of Carnal Snakes. These guys, we're looking at a strike weakness and an ice weakness. Once again, they are unfortunately staring down Akihiko, who now has access to God's Hand, as well as extra potent strike skills, so yeah, going about as well as you'd expect for him. Unfortunately, Akihiko cannot pass it on to anyone else. He's a little panicked right now. Gotta love it, but hey. Another God's Hand from him. more than enough to take him out. Mitsuru doesn't have the great damage potential she normally does, but still, this will be enough to knock this guy down, and probably we can finish him off with an all-out attack. A little trio strike here, just me and the ladies. Akihiko, you're sitting on the sidelines. Ah, not quite, not quite. That's okay, though. Oh, what the heck, we'll just have Loki finish it off for us. Alright, not too bad, not too bad. Let's continue on.
Giving you a good test of your strength.
Next up, we have light balances. Let's see, we've got guys who are weak to fire and wind. Unfortunately, not something that we can too easily deal with this composition, but a crit from Akihiko, more than enough to take one guy out. Oof. And let's go for the all-out attack, just so I can get another shuffle time. I do want plenty of money and other resources to work with when coming into the end of the game, just so I can make even better personae for the final boss, who might actually justify that level of firepower over what I already have. Even in reload, not a good idea to sleep on the enemies. Hey, check it out, the final Monad Door enemy. I'm glad to see that. That means I don't have to worry too much about trying to find this guy in the next video. Let's work together on this. I'll give this my all as well. Let's go, I guess, let's go. So, once again, we've got Dice here. Hey, Reckoning Dice, I remember you. I just got done editing the last boss compilation, so I know full well this guy is a reused enemy. Anyway, let's mitigate his offense while we're just going around, trying to figure out the best way to approach this. We might actually be able to use Mitsuru's Theurgy. Oh, this is a good thing I put the Amriti necklace on her. Never mind, we're not going to use her Theurgy. Instead, we are going to do a, what is it, the Refresh Pack, I think? Yes, the Refresh Pack gets rid of that on everybody. We'll, of course, tag this guy with Debilitate, and then we'll be ready to go. I was hoping to show off Mitsuru's second Theurgy, because I don't think I've had an opportunity to show it yet. It's, sadly not that great, but it is a pretty cool animation, like all the Theurgies, really, so may as well go for the opportunity to show it off, right? Let's just weaken this guy up a bit, and I'm feeling Akasha Arts. Let's go for it. Nope, a little too hopeful with that one. A little too ambitious, even. Let's get the scan on this guy and figure out what the best approach is. Okay, so anything magic will do good against this guy. Works for me, easy enough to understand. It is possible to pierce physical weaknesses in this game, but it is strictly a weapon ability. They're really the only weapons that are worthwhile, and a lot of them require item. Here we go. Let's show off Blade of Execution. But a lot of them require items produced by the strongest persona in the game, and I'm not a super big fan of them, but they have their uses.
Artemisia. Don't bother. You can't hide from me. Finale.
Yeah, it's pretty cool looking, if nothing else. It's not the most practical skill in the game, because there isn't really a good way to boost it, but it is actually stronger than her original Theurgy, with enough boost to stack to it. The Blade of Execution still comes out on top compared to that. Ooh, free Ice Amp, heck yeah. That'll actually give me an opportunity to upgrade from Black Frost, honestly. Next up, we got the reload version of the Onin Musa. These guys are only weak to light skills, so we're kind of just banking on Akihiko getting a crit here. If we're lucky, we will see that, and no, we were not quite that lucky. That is A-okay, though. I fully got my defenses set up. I debuffed these guys, as well as, of course, having the auto Ma Rakukaja applied, so not too threatening. We should be fine there. Let's just go for the obvious thing and knock them over with Ma Koha. I should really get a stronger light caster. There are plenty available to us at this stage of the game. One of the standouts being Sibylle in this version of the game. Could definitely stand to get her going. Alright, not too bad, not too bad. We should be able to finish this guy off with a single Primal Force. Go for it, Aegis. Not too terrible. Yeah, if those guys land some crits, they can actually be pretty threatening, so don't sleep on them.
My skills have improved.
Rapid progress for Akihiko there. Lightning Bow, so this is a payday floor, but I don't think I'll go out of my way to try and find the next chest. We'll just pop by the... Oh, hey, it's right there. If it's on the way, obviously I'll stop to get it. But Akihiko just getting all braggadocious there interrupted my train of thought. I was gonna say something. Once again, battle giving me time to think about it, let me remember what I was gonna say. Obviously, it should go without saying that doubling your item drop rates, very, very helpful for farming gems to get stat-raising cards. you'll absolutely want to have that effect in play if you're doing that. And it's something for surely you'll be doing. If you fight like you always do, then you should be able to win. Just remember, I believe in you. Good luck. And somewhat randomly, a mysterious voice rings in your head. Thou art I, and I am thou. Thou shalt have our blessing when thou choosest to create a persona of the Judgment Arcana. The Nyx Annihilation Team's social link has reached level 4. Power to create personas of the Judgment Arcana has grown. Don't worry, our expedition won't be focused on FES for the entirety of these videos, so you won't have to deal with me just reflexively reading that as it pops up. We're not going to have too much more of that. Let's see here. Kind of pincered here behind these guys. Here we go, we can get through this guy now. Nice when one of them just so happens to move in a way that lets me get the back attack. I will say, it's been nice to play the vanilla version of Persona 3 and actually, you know, get neutral engages with the enemies and not just randomly get a first strike from the enemy. Also, this guy is being very, very obnoxious, and my team are being very stupid and breaking his aggro. Goodness, let me at least check the treasure chest here. Rancid Gravy. We know this floor has junk on it now, so we can just get the heck out of here. Alright, after that, we finally broke this guy's aggro.
Yes, yes, yes. My skill level has increased.
Glad to hear it, Ken. Glad to hear it. Still not quite at the levels I'd like to be. Obviously, or rather, to reiterate, I'd like to be at level 69 to get that fusion request resolved, and that'll also mean that I'm at past level 68, can fuse the item-bearing persona I'd like to create. And after that, the only personae that I really care to fuse were kind of set for combat personae. The only ones that I really care to fuse at that point is the ones that create ultimate weapons, which we're definitely going to be getting ultimate weapons for the protagonist, Junpei and Akihiko. Ken may have to settle for something that's not quite as good, but still a pretty decent all-around boost to him. And no, it's not going to be Gungnir or Ebol. He is going to get a new spear to finish out the game with and attend the final boss with. So look forward to that. What have we got on this floor? As always, looking for the treasure chest. I've been having pretty good luck with running into the staircases. Pretty nice, I gotta say. I'll get this guy aggroed, and then just shuffle him around. Basic tactics that are kind of necessary, because even at this stage, a really inopportune first turn from the enemy can still kill us. You can never afford to underestimate the enemies in this game, even at this point. They can easily knock you down and hang you out to dry, so never mess around. Alright, I've hit level 68, so I'm at the threshold to fuse one of the things that I want to create. Hey, and this is a payday floor. Plus we got a demon's mail there, so let me just write down real quick that this floor has good treasure on it, so I know for my own personal time when I'm going back and just farming to get all the money we need. Let's check out that demon's mail here. It's got this silver plate. Ooh, +3 endurance. Yeah, I'll definitely take that over the Kukai's investment. I could probably afford to upgrade somebody else's equipment also. Let's give it to Ken, because he's always been our most fragile guy here. No, he's just a little guy there. Got this Kaiser armor. I think you would look dapper in the silver plate. Rest of his stuff is actually looking pretty good there. For me? Really? Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's a little detail that you kind of lose when you're able to just readjust everybody's equipment from a menu. There is nobody being thankful to you, nor is there anyone being exasperated when you hand them, shall we say, weird-looking outfits. There's a powerful presence on the 228th floor. Please be careful. When have I not been? Quite a few times, actually, and boy, is it embarrassing when that blows up in my face. I believe there's one more enemy that we can run into in this stretch of Adama, but I haven't really had much luck actually bumping into him, so that's been a little sad and a little frustrating. Based on its stats, it's probably just a single shadow encounter, so I want to look for the little guy. It's got like 1170 HP, so probably just a big pseudo-boss encounter, which are never really worth your time to fight. They just don't give, they're so risky to fight, and they just don't give the EXP that really justifies the time and risk spent on actually fighting them. Kinda silly. To be honest, I'm kind of the same mind about the strong shadows in Reload. They're slightly more worth your time to fight, possibly a payday floor, most likely just a cheap pharma floor though. They're slightly more worth your time to fight just because they give valuable gems pretty often, which is of course good for getting good equipment from the antique shop, but still, like, there's a lot of risk baked into fighting them, and they take forever to kill relative to everything else. Hey, this is definitely a payday floor, and we got some good new footwear there, the Ida-10 sandals. Let's take a quick look at those. Yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff I could probably stand to sell here. Let's see, oh, I also got these Shoes of Bane. Let's see, reduce stumble, high. Pretty nice if you're using melee weapons. Actually, I do, noticing that I've got those Shoes of Bane there. I was actually, when I was looking over Junpei's equipment earlier, I noticed that his shoes are a little out of date, so let's get those Shoes of Bane onto him. Evade Slash is whatever, but hey. Just some more general evasion will probably help him out quite a bit. He'd definitely appreciate it. So yeah, this is actually a pretty good stretch of floors for farming. The enemies are still the weakest they can possibly be in Adama, so it shouldn't be too hard to intimidate them. And there is a good number of payday floors. What, 221, 223, 225, and 227? Not too much effort you have to go through. You can just warp between floor 220 to 228 and get this stuff farmed up real quick, since 3 enemies in the middle. Be careful, okay? Alrighty. Let's get over here. The device is similar to the one at the entrance. And let's make our save, get everybody prepared, although I don't think I need to make any preparations beyond the save here, and let's get into the next boss fight. Alright, I've made my save, and I'm just reviewing my fusion options here, and we've got an important one. By fusing Atropos, Kikuruhime, and Raphael, we can create Abaddon, and this is the guy that I want to create for the potential to get his item that he can produce. So let's just do a quick chance, or a quick attempt at the fusion here, see if I get lucky with the item, and if not, I can just reload my save and try again on my own time. I also double check to make sure I have enough money to pull Raphael back out of the compendium. Let's see. Yeah, didn't get his item there. Now, Abaddon uses can produce a very, very important and helpful item. He can produce a Tome of the Void. Tome of the Void gives you immunity to all mental status ailments. That is, Charm, Infuriate, Panic, and what was the other one? Or Charm, Rage, Panic. There's one more, I know, but it's escaping me. But basically, it gives you immunity to most of the threatening ailments in the game. He also is a surprisingly potent physical defender, if that's your thing, although not really something I care that much about. But he gets the skills to nullify all of the different physical attacking types, and he also got Absorb Ice there from the skill mutation, which is not helpful, but hey. Just a funny thing. This is not one that I'm going to keep anyway, but I just like it when silly things like that happen. But we really want Abaddon for the Tomes of the Void, so I'm going to reload my save there because that's a waste, and I'm going to get that guy fused so that he has the item, and then we can get into the boss fight. Alright, got my Abaddon created. Admittedly, I probably should have tried to find a fusion that would get him growth 3 without much issue, maybe checking something that Daisojo could have fused into, but that's not a big deal, and in its own way it has its value, because I can have more control over his experience, and I can register him just as he's on the cusp of getting a level up. Still, 40k to burn through while he's equipped is gonna be quite a bit, but I think I can manage it. Regardless, let's get into the next boss battle here.
It seems to be guarding this area. Be careful, it's powerful.
Alrighty, next up we got here the Carnal Snakes. These guys are immune to fire, so Surt's not going to do much damage here. They are also resistant to Elec, but critically are not immune to it. So, let's take a look at what the turn order is here. Just thinking about who would be a good one to go after. We'll start with that one that is 2. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to assign target. It's been a while since we've used this option. I'm going to assign everybody to this guy right here. Also, these guys attack with fire magic as well as Mudon skills. So Ken is at a bit of a risk here, but I think I'll keep him on heal and support just to hedge our bets on that. What we're going to do is, actually, what am I doing here? No, he's going to recover from that. I completely forgot about how this actually works. Okay, change of plans. I'll let me see here. 7, 3. Okay, actually, what we're going to do here is we're going to, never mind with having Ken on heal and support, we're going to assign the target there, assign this target, and then actually what we're going to do is we're going to have Junpei in full assault. That should be fine. Oh, I almost forgot. Thunder Rain dissipates once the enemy's turn comes up, so gotta be a bit more particular about how you use this. Let's see. Fire Break? That's fine. I'm not concerned about that. We'll just knock this guy on his ass here. And deal some pretty huge damage to him. Almost get him taken out right away. Here comes a Mudon, and of course he goes right for Ken, which is expected, but that's fine. We can manage. We've got plenty of homunculi at this stage of the game, so I'm not too concerned about these being winged at the protagonist. It is a little bit frustrating, but not the end of the world. Oof. Spirit Drain is actually pretty serious in this game. I was playing Vanilla recently, and Spirit Drain is... Oh, hey! Junpei's got Brave Blade at his disposal now. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Let me think here. Let's focus on getting this guy taken care of first. Once we thin their numbers a bit, we can then use the opportunity to get Ken back in. Here comes another Mudon. Probably going to see a lot of my homunculi eaten up here, but that's fine. I'm not overly concerned about that. It's a little frustrating, but not the end of the world if that happens. Mazionga coming out from Akihiko, which is probably one of the least effective things you can do. Honestly, I probably would have been better off just having him do a rush there. Let me think. Unfortunately, Junpei is dead last in the turn order, so not really any way I can get him to take advantage of the shock. Let's see. Actually, what am I going to do here? Let's reassign Akihiko here. We will have Akihiko go after... Actually, you know what? Nah, we'll focus on getting him killed. I was maybe considering giving myself more of a leg up in the turn order by just knocking him down instead, but I think this is more sensible to go for. We do have to be mindful that our buffs are going to wear off soon, so that could potentially be a problem, but I think we should be able to manage. What I can do is put up a magic mirror to give ourselves a little bit of protection.
Still alive.
Right. Junpei is probably going to be... That's a bit unfortunate there. Junpei is probably going to be a little unwilling to do anything here. Oh no, he's willing to go for the Brave Blade.
That one just won't die.
Actually, you know what? Okay. What I'm going to do here is it's a good idea to be a bit more defensive this turn. So what we're going to do is put everybody on heal and support. There's a chance that somebody will get taken down by a Mamudon here. Get Ken preemptively on heal and support, and we're going to use a Bomb of Life to get him back into the fight. He's just been taking a little snooze cruise here. You know, this is tough on the kid. He's a little tuckered out on this one. Here comes the Mudon, but again, plenty of homunculi in reserve, if I even need them. Let's see. Akihiko's probably going to go for the Diorama, or Diorahan. Hey, nice! That's actually quite helpful for him to have at this stage, so very nice to see that coming out. Dekajaka. That's kind of a funny time for him to decide to use that. It honestly works out for me, too, because that causes Junpei to immediately go into the Maharaku Kaja. I think what I'll do at this point is I'm not going to bother getting the buffs back in play. We're just going to knock down, we're going to get this guy knocked down. I got to make sure Akihiko is on the right target. He'll finish this guy off. Let's see, Junpei can just go back to full assault there. Ken can stay on heal and support. Let's get this guy taken care of, and then it's just going to be a matter of whittling down the final snake. Unfortunately, because of the way the turn order has fallen, we can't take advantage of shock on this guy. It's kind of funny that they're going for the fire break there, because they haven't bothered to use their fire skills at all, really.
Way to go, Senpai.
Alright, good stuff. Thank you, Akihiko. Junpei will just be doing his Brave Blade thing here. If we're lucky, he'll get a crit. Brave Blade does have like I think it's like a 20% crit rate, but we're not really anywhere close to guaranteed to seeing it. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll go for knockdown on Junpei and knockdown on Akihiko. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch over to, actually this might be Raphael. Is he weak to darkness? Yes, he is weak to darkness. I was considering boosting up the team's attack. What about you? Are you weak to darkness? Or not, and you have Akasha Arts. I don't think spending the HP would be wise. Let's see, what is Siegfried? Is Siegfried weak to darkness in this game? Yes, he is, so, alright, that's off the table. So I'm just trying to think about, like, what's the best way to go about this. They really don't have any great options for these guys. Wonder what their wind resistance is. Norn isn't nearly as strong as our other casters at this point, but hey, Phantom Ray is a different bit of coverage that we have here. This may deal a little bit more damage. No, they're resistant to that as well. Bit unfortunate, but that's okay. Honestly, I kind of wish I was hit by that, because that might have inspired Ken to use Media Rahan instead. Junpei put himself in the level. Nope. Yeah, the AI is pretty dumb when it comes to that kind of thing. Let's see. Actually, you know what? I think a Baton would be a good idea. I can just go for normal swings with Balmung here. Yeah, not terrible damage. It's about on par with Ahigo and his fist boosts on his knuckles there. Yeah, no choice but to do a pretty slow and grindy attempt at this fight, but that's okay. Sometimes you'll get a good turn order where you can just use the shock abuse on every single thing here.
That wasn't good.
Ken, you know, it would be a lot more economical if you just used Media Rahan to heal everybody. Yeah, but he's not gonna clue in that that might be a wise idea. There we go. When you get a heavy swing like that, it helps out quite a bit. Before we move on, of course, we did it! That was a tough one, but I knew you'd pull through. 3 Guardians left. We're almost there. Keep it up! A mysterious voice rings in your head. Thou art I, and I am thou. Thou shalt have our blessing when thou choosest to create a persona of the Judgment Arcana. Lovely to see, lovely to see. Alright, time for the portable fight. No major change-ups here, although I would like to note that I actually upgraded Raphael into Sibylle, not for any particular reason, I just had the option to, and it was relatively easy, so now I've got a new auto-team buffer in Sibylle. I did need something later on, though, that has myriad arrows, so that was just a bit of serendipity there. Note that Sibylle has the Weapon Master ability that gives you a 25% bonus to damage you deal with a normal attack, so that's pretty good with the Velvel Maruga. Very nice to have there. Otherwise, nothing too different here. This fight shouldn't pose too much of a threat to us. I did put the Blazing Flame onto the Femc just so I have some way to wall out the fire damage. Mitsuru, of course, still has her Sun Saber, so she's able to just ignore her fire weakness for this fight. It's gonna be interesting to see how ice actually works on this fight, because I never actually tested that.
It seems to be guarding this area. Be careful, it's powerful.
One annoying thing we have to contend with this fight is that I don't actually know the full turn order ahead of time like I do in FES, so I can't check to see who is most vulnerable to potentially being hit with shot crit nonsense. So that's just something we're going to have to deal with. I think for this first turn, I just want to figure out what the turn order is, and we'll just pop off with Myriad Arrows, get a little bit of damage tacked on these guys. Myriad Arrows is nowhere near as good as Vorpal Blade, but in this situation, it's probably the best we can hope for. Let's see what Bufala does for us in this fight. Well, at the very least, it deals decent damage. Ooh, this is actually a pretty fortunate turn order here. I might go for some,
Must be eliminated.
what is it? Oh, there goes my fire, nullification. But that's okay, because I actually have fire resistance underneath the nullification. These guys are weak, or resistant to force, or wind magic, so I can just have, Yukari keep us topped off with, Mediarama. So what I'm going to do on this turn is I'm going to shot one of these guys, and I'm actually going to wait until Aegis's turn comes around to pop off with Heat Wave. I can do double Heat Waves to get a bunch of damage out from Aegis. So let's get Odin popped in. Let's Thunder Rain one of these fools. We'll have Mitsuru just use Mabufala like she did the last turn, which deals pretty decent damage to these guys, in spite of the fact that it's only a tier 2 spell. Still works out pretty good for her. Nice to see, nice to see. That going, and now we'll be able to throw out 2 Heat Waves to really just lay into these guys with some critical damage. Very nice to see when that comes through. I don't believe you can get the down condition out. No, you can. Okay, so the Dizzy does overwrite that. Ugh. Spirit Drain is so devastating in this game compared to how it is in Persona 3 Vanilla. I was doing a stream recently in Persona 3 Vanilla. I may as well throw up a magic mirror while I'm thinking about it. Oh, actually, this is actually something I didn't get to point out. With Ryoji's music box in Persona 3 Portable, it's actually an infinite use SP restore, kind of like the Chakra Elixir from Digital Devil Saga and Nocturne. Not huge amount of SP restoration, but it's kind of cool if nothing else. So let's do another double shot crit spam. That one guy who's downed is probably going to die in short order due to the strength of Mitsuru's Mabufala. Even if he doesn't, Aegis will probably finish him up with a double tap, and no, he definitely was not surviving that. So let's get the heat wave here. If we're lucky, maybe it'll crit both of them, and we can go for an all-out attack to finish. Weren't lucky there, but that's okay. I was, when I was going to my inventory, thinking of throwing up a magic mirror, just to eliminate some of the problems these guys could potentially cause. There goes our buffs, but at this point, that's really not that big a deal. I may as well just have Yukari wing a physical attack at these guys. She can't fall over, so it's not a big deal. And honestly, I think I'll just have Mitsuru go for the physical attack this time. Yeah, there we go. No reason to be fancy with it. We win. Get 3 King of Cups. Very nice, very nice. Before we get into the fight in Persona 3 Reload, Elizabeth is letting me know that there's only a few Personas left unregistered in the Persona Compendium. To show my appreciation for your hard work, the cost to summon a Persona from the Compendium will be greatly discounted. To think, this Compendium, once so empty, is now nearly complete, and you might just be the one capable of filling each and every one of these pages.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
How may I assist you?
Well, let's actually take a look at that compendium and see what our completion percentage is. We have been creating a lot of personae throughout the game, 75%. I'm sure I'll be able to complete the compendium, not before the end of the game, but in due time and getting prepared for a certain something. Okay, moving on. The next thing that I can show off here is that while I was getting my Major Arcana cards, Igor, please stop, you're throwing me off. While I was getting my Major Arcana cards, I got the Sun Arcana. Speaking of Sun Arcana, look at Vishnu here. He's level 78, but because we have the Sun Arcana card, we can fuse him no problem, and he gets a pretty significant stat bonus. When you have the Sun Arcana card, it looks like you'll be able to fuse it now. So, why don't we put Diamond Dust onto him and put Ice Boost and Single Target Boost. I actually did fuse off Black Frost, because he's kind of outdated at this point, and I was looking for something that I could get as a dedicated Ice Caster. Vishnu isn't necessarily complacent in that role, but hey, he's a pretty good persona regardless. Let's take a look at the skills he gets here. Obviously, we saw he got Phanta Ray there. Picks up Concentrate, which is very helpful. Alley Dance to help him evade attacks, which, you know what, I'm going to make him a dedicated Ice Caster, so we'll get rid of the Zeodyne there. And most importantly of all, Salvation. Fully restores the party HP and cures all ailments besides KO. The ultimate healing spell in the game. So let's get him situated with all this. And yeah, there we are. Alright, with all that resolved, let's get into the next boss fight here. What have we got to work with coming up here? Well, I see something that would be very good to hit with Scarlet Havoc. The enemy is strong. Please make sure you're ready before fighting. Have I ever not been ready? Plenty of times, but we're not going to pay too much attention to that. Alright. Sorry, but we're breaking through. Alright. What do I want to do to start here? I think the wise thing to do would always err on the side of caution. We'll always start with a Matarunda to make sure these guys don't hit us too badly here. I can also have Mitsuru set up the Marakunda. Let's see. A little bit of that nasty damage onto Aegis there, but that's not too bad. Not a big deal. So long as she doesn't get dizzied, we should be fine there. Like I said, let's go for the Marakunda here. The MC's turn should be coming up, so we should be able to Scarlet Havoc and quickly thin the herd here. And we've got so much more damage at our disposal. Aegis is not gonna be dizzy there. Alright, cool. Now, let's get this cleaned up a little bit. It's so messy in here. Let me take care of you guys. At some point, I'll show off best friends. There we go. Surprised we didn't get the crit there, but that's not the end of the world. Aegis is back in the battle. Let's just have her go... actually, I'm going to go with Akasha Arts, because Akasha Arts has a decent crit rate, and if I don't know if the enemy is vulnerable to Pierce or not, it's probably the safer bet to go for. As you can see, the gimmick of this fight is that he is going to call his minions back. Pierce would indeed be a pretty good option there. What I'm going to go for here is I'm going to fish for a crit with Akihiko using God's Hand. And didn't get lucky there, but that is A-okay. Let's see here. Just go for the Bufudyne. We'll start tacking damage on this guy. Once his minions do come back in, we have Electric Spike from Akihiko to take them out. I'm gonna go for... Let's see. I powered up Norn a little bit and slapped a single target boost on her. So we're going to hit him with the Phanta Ray, which should deal some pretty significant damage at this point. I also did fuse a Sibylle, so I've got a light amped Mach Hogan as an option now, and she's also hooked up with Wind Boost and Wind Amp and Spellmaster herself, so she can do some pretty effective Phanta Rays also. We're probably going to see a lot of guys coming back this turn. And indeed, the summons are inbound. I was just about to say, is he only going to summon the one of them? Yeah, if I had gotten a crit earlier, we probably could have finished this fight before the minions were resummoned. But, like I said, Akihiko's got an Electric Spike at his disposal, our buffs are still in play, so we're just going to take these guys down with this. Beautiful damage to see, beautiful damage to see. We're going to go for a Neuro Slash as a wild card pick here, because Mitsuru has a decent chance of scoring a crit on that shocked enemy, particularly with her Ailment Surge. Not that it was really necessary. Good stuff, good stuff.
I've learned a new skill.
Zeller-san, can you hear me? Good job taking down the Gatekeeper. As we get close to the top, I keep thinking about a lot of things. I wonder if this is how heroes feel right before the season finale. Yeah, you know, maybe. In that sense, it's quite an experience, isn't it? I never expected my daydreams to become reality. You know, heroes aren't strong because they never lose. They're strong because they never give up. That's what I think, at least. I can sense everyone's strength and resolve as we head into the final battle. Oh, Ken, you're so delightful. You know what? We're getting him into the team. Not like I wasn't planning to switch out Akihiko and Mitsuru with Ken and Koromaru anyway, but you know, according to Fukasan, there are still a lot of gatekeepers before we reach the top. But we'll make it for sure, and I'm ready to go anytime. Before we get Ken, let's just, before we get Ken and before we transition over to Portable for exploration, let's get the rest of our items here. Let's open up this locked chest. Thankfully, I found a Twilight Fragment, and Elizabeth bequeathed a couple on me, so I got a couple more to work with. An Endure card, not bad. Alright, now I will get set up, and let's continue in Portable. For the next couple sections of Adama, we'll be switching over to Persona 3 Portable as our main point of view for the exploration. I feel that Persona 3 Portable deserves 2 sections to itself, and then, of course, in Reload, we'll have one final section to go through, and then we'll have the Monad passage. So, still plenty to see in Persona 3 Reload beyond stuff like Monad doors and just the new enemies to cover, of course. Not that a lot of the enemies are super exciting, but hey. Speaking of new enemies, we get into new encounters at this stage of Adama, and this is actually a very, very brief section. Once we get to the next boss floor, the enemies we encounter here are just going to disappear. Let's see, we've got these Infinite Sands. These guys are weak to ice, so not something that the FMC has covered. They only have 400 HP. 383 HP. They nullify fire, but Elec works on them just fine, and we've got Odin right here, so why don't we just blast away at these guys. Note that I've got Abaddon online in Persona 3 Portable, and I've got him set up with a Growth 3 card, so he's going to be passively getting experience. I do want to monitor his experience gain, because I don't want him to level up before I have a chance to register him with the super low EXP to next level. That'll allow me to quickly get another Tome of the Void. Like I said for FES, I want at least 4 Tomes of the Voids for the final boss later, but I only really need 2 in Portable, so I'm not going to be doing as much with Abaddon in this version of the game.
There's one enemy, a
These are actually different dice from the dice we encountered in the previous block. Silver dice. They nullify physicals and are weak to light and darkness. And of course, Odin can just shock them into oblivion, so not anything that is super concerning to me. It's kind of funny how they have two sets of dice enemies back to back who look almost identical. Based on the name, I assume these guys are supposed to be silver, but they ain't quite silver. I was actually going for the Haridi there. I've done quite a bit of fusing. Got a couple things online that will be handy for later. Well, one thing that's online that's handy for later, but we'll get to that when we get to that. The EXP is starting to pour in now. As you get further into Adama, the enemies become EXP pinatas, and that's going to become especially true when we make it into the next leg of Adama. It's going to be fantastic. Hey, I completely walked by the stairs when we got through here. This isn't a good treasure floor, but the next one is, so we'll make our way there. Are you tired? Don't push yourself too hard. And I definitely do want to be collecting some treasure. Nice thing about getting equipment in this version of Persona 3 is that it essentially allows you to bank money. Like, all this armor I'm getting, I'm obviously not going to use it because we've got our maid squad here, but it is money that I can get once I get out of Tartarus, and if I bank up a lot of that ahead of time, it'll really help when I start preparing for the bonus boss. Let's see, we've got two new enemies here. Well, two new, quote-unquote. The Daring Gigases have been demoted. Remember, they were the strong shadows from the last section of Haraba. These light balances over here are new, though. Just for a refresher, the Daring Gigases are weak to wind. The light balances, on the other hand, let's see, they have 386 HP. They are weak to elect, strong against wind, nullify light and darkness, and are also strong against slash attacks if you were relying on Vorpal Blade to clear fights, which is a much more consistent and reliable strategy in Persona 3 Portable due to the fact that you just stay in the great condition forever. Very effective. Of course, the Daring Gigases are also resistant to it. Also missing like that is a bit unfortunate. I think I forgot to re-equip my speed enhancer after the previous boss fight, so I better do that to make sure that I'm not missing consistently like that. Bit of a shame that we didn't get an EXP boosting card there. Probably would have been pretty good. Well, maybe not. We've actually kind of grown past the Daring Gigases as far as EXP yield. In fact, a lot of the strong shadows we've been coming across recently don't really give the super high EXP values you might be used to, like when you're fighting them earlier in the game, unless you got a solo character. What am I looking at here? Right. I want to check Abaddon's experience real quick. Let's see, 19,000? Getting there, getting there. I also set up Norn with a Growth 3 skill. That'll allow her to, obviously, passively gain levels, get more stats before I have a chance to Arcade Gamer. But the reason I want her to start getting levels now is because, as you can see, she patches out her own weakness with Absorb Elect. And that'll come in handy for a particular fight later. I'll probably be doing the same thing for FES when I'm doing my incidental grinding to get everybody up to or close to level 80. But it's a lot easier to get that done passively in Portable due to growth cards. As a random aside, I just got a level up just a couple fights ago and learned Sama Recarm for an additional supporting option in addition to Dia Rahan. She also replaced with Swift Strike, so now she's sticking to Heat Wave for her AoE options, which, you know, it's a flatly stronger skill, so not like that's a big deal or anything. I just think it's fun to mention how the skills sometimes swap out in this game. She's gonna learn Akasha Arts at level 73, which will be very, very nice. Anyways, we got another new enemy here, conveniently enough. Doom Swords. Let's see, 386 HP. They are strong against slash attacks, weak to ice, repel elects, so I mean, it's fine to just do the Maziodyne against them anyway, because Odin drains his own element, gives me a little bit of incidental healing, which would probably matter more if I didn't have access to Cool Breeze on my main bruisers. Don't have access to a good Ice Persona, and likely never will, because the best Ice Persona in the game, the one that learns the ultimate Ice spell, is level 80, so pretty much only available for the final boss, which is pretty annoying, and is super annoying in a particular instance of Persona 3, shall we say. That's neither here nor there. We'll be getting to that in due time. Ooh, nice, a rare chest. Some very good equipment can be found on the payday floors in the rare chests. Some of the best stuff in the game. Not surprisingly, of course, we're right at the end. Oh, hey, and I think this is the last set of new enemies for this leg of Tartarus. We've got Royal Dancers, a demoted boss this time. They repel wind skills, nullify light and darkness, but they only have 364 HP, so not really going to do well against anything that they are neutral to, if you have the right setup, like I do. We got Cert equipped already, so we'll just pop off with some fire, and yeah, that did not go very well for them. Let's see, there's one more new enemy on here, but I think it is a small shadow soul encounter. In case I don't encounter it, because this is a very, very brief window to encounter it. It's a Minotaur 3. I can tell that, ooh, powered suit. I think that's for Koromaru. It's a Minotaur 3, obviously the Minotaur line of enemies. I can tell I was a little checked out when I was writing the notes for it, because I don't have its HP, but it's strong against all physical types, nullifies ice, and is weak to darkness skills if you run into it. Yet more new enemies and reload as well, so better show them off. We got Devious Mayas over here. These guys are weak to darkness, which is going to fare pretty badly for them, because I've got Koromaru on the team now. And over here we've got Infinite Sand, weak to physical skills as well. Oh, Koromaru is just salivating here. He's having a very Pavlovian response at what he's seeing. And you know what? He deserves it. So, let's just take these guys out with this, and go for a nice, solid, all-out attack. It's like a treat for the dog, really, don't you think? Oh wow, that actually didn't finish them off. Oh well, they're not going to last much longer than that. It's a good thing to have a Vile Assault for a niche option like this when I have Ken equipped with a light-based spear. Another new enemy here, the Green Sigil in Reload. This guy is weak to Elec and nothing else. Drains wind, so be mindful of that. Not that I'm really using that kind of option right now. Let's just have Koromaru fish for a crit. Otherwise, we're gonna have to wait for the protagonist's turn to come around to blast him with Garudine. Pop him with it, even. We'll just have Ken do a normal strike with his spear there. Here comes the Garudine, but we're not using Junpei or anything, and he just used it on something that drains it, so we're all good there. Check it out. Zeodyne from Loki. Oh yeah, wonderful. This all-out attack should actually yield some purchase. Indeed, we've completely bought him out. Heck yeah. Yet more new enemies here. We've got the reload version of the Emperor Beetle, so let's scan him and see how we can squash him like the bug that he is. We're not exactly spoiled for choice here, I'm afraid, but I think Koromaru can manage decent damage with his Maragi-Dine, as he's just picked up Fire Amp. I wasn't really using Virus Breath. Wow, that wasn't as much as I was hoping for. I wasn't really using Virus Breath, so I just booted that from his skill list. Alright, let's beat this guy down. Am I hitting into resistances real quick, or is this guy just really defensive? No, this guy's just got good defenses. Well, I can respect that. Let's go for something a little bit more significant in the damage dealing department. All reliable in Siegfried here. There we go. Yeah, once we make it to the next section of Adama, getting to level 80 might sound like it's a lot of grinding, but it is much quicker than you expect, because the last few enemies, their EXP yield just shoots right up. The game doing its best to make sure you have the levels to get the best skills for the final boss, and I'm appreciative of that. Granted, grinding is a bit more tedious in FES, because of course you have fatigue to contend with, but that is not a concern at all in Persona 3. Ooh, I gotta take a chance at this. Just a Royal Dancer. This floor is not a good treasure floor. The next one we'll come across is 233. In fact, there's a huge string of payday floors coming up, so that's going to be pretty nice for our finances and for our banking. Alright, make our way over to this guy. So why am I aiming for level 80 for the final boss? Well, for one thing, it's just a very comfortable level that everybody at that point will have all their skills, regardless of who they are, and it makes the fight manageable, but not too easy either. It's just the perfect level to be at for it, and I think it's as close as any level in an RPG can be to be being intended for it. Another fringe perk of that is that it'll allow me to fuse ultimate weapons for most of my party members. I guess Yukari and Ken, most likely, unless I happen to accidentally over-level myself slightly, are going to be left out in that regard, but I can find a good enough approximation for all of them, so that's no big deal there. I will admit, the kind of staccato approach I have to Tartarus exploration, just to accommodate the LP, has kind of impeded my use of weapon fusion in this playthrough. I typically do it a lot more when I'm just playing, you know, a single version of the game casually. Like, Akihiko's weapon is a little out of date at this point in FES, and I'd probably have a stronger wind-resistant sword for Junpei if I was paying more attention to just weapon fusion, but you know, I'm jumping between 3 different versions of the game, usually playing them only for an hour each week. So, stuff that I'd have no trouble remembering to do if I was playing at my own tempo, kinda just, you know, gets left in the lurch a little bit. It's that close. It's on the 236th floor. Please be careful. Okay, no rank up there, I'm afraid. That would have been a great spot for it. Just contemplating there if I do want to go for the treasure on this floor. 233, 234, and 235 are all payday floors. So there's a lot of good treasure to be gained back to back to back. Ooh, Sermet legs. I think Aegis's legs are a little out of date there, so could use those for her. Just a 10 evasion upgrade. Not huge, but hey, I'll take it, I'll take it. I'm still using the magic sandals from so long ago on Yukari and Mitsuru, just because I don't really care that much about their evasion, and having +3 magic on them is always just a little helpful, you know. In most circumstances, that's like, what, 15 extra points of damage or so? Depends a little bit on the defensive scaling of the enemy, but always pretty handy. Definitely need to keep a close eye on a Bad in here. If he's getting too close to the level up end, that's a little too close to the level up. We're gonna start rushing the staircase now. I want to register him so that I can just quickly get him back. It'll be nice, I don't need him to be like right on the cusp of a level up in Portable because I have the Growth 3 skill, so I can just register him at this point, and he's on the next floor. Please be careful. And then just pull him out, and eventually he'll get the level up. Yeah, there's the stairs right there, so let's just make our way up. You definitely want to be quick when you've got an enemy on your tail and you're coming to the stairs, because it de-aggroes them, and they can potentially lock on to one of your party members who are off the stairs. If you happen to try and go up the stairs while they're in a combat, you're prompted to abandon them. There's one shadow near the middle. It's strong, so be careful. Hey, we got this on lock. Let's pop over to Persona 3 FES, as is customary for the start of these fights. Alright, let's get this next boss bonanza taken care of with this guy right here.
This shadow is a formidable foe. Its arcana is justice.
You guys ready for more Mudon spam? Because that's what the World Balance brings to us. He also has access to elemental magics and is immune to most physical attacks, so we're just going to want to pop off with our magic skills because he doesn't have any notable resistances there. Let me see. Let's get Akihiko on heal and support, and then I think we should be good with everyone on full assault for this turn. So let's just fire off a Ragnarok and get this underway. I'll probably have Junpei just go for rushes with, oh, here comes the Kukudine. Should have seen that one coming. Probably would have been a good idea to... Oh man, that's actually really unfortunate that Spirit Drain does not cause us to up ourselves. Ooh, that's actually quite helpful there.
Way to go, Senpai!
And that Matarunda, unfortunately because I got knocked on my ass, that means that, let's have Junpei just rush and get the big damage on this guy. Since I got knocked on my ass, that does not mean that means I do not get to, do the all-out attack there. Let's see, they'll probably prompt a Dia Rahan from Akihiko, which would be appreciated. Nope, he's going for the Maratunda, okay. Fine by me, fine by me. Let's see here, obviously have Junpei go for the rush again. Ah, that's unfortunate. Let's see here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have, I'm actually going to, let me think here. Oh, you know, I just realized if he's vulnerable to shock, nah, he goes after the protagonist, so that's a no-go there. Let me see here. Do I have any bead chains? I kind of don't want to switch off. Yeah, we'll just do bead chains here. I definitely don't want to switch to anything that would be weak to... That works out good for Junpei. Gets him right back on his feet there. Do not want to switch to anything that would be weak to his darkness spells, because that's definitely the thing that makes me a little bit more apprehensive. Alright, so we're going to see our buffs begin to expire here, but conveniently Junpei is in the end of the turn order, so he can get the defense boost back up onto everybody. So let's just have him go on to heal and support. He should help us out pretty good there. I'm going to go for another Ragnarok here. The Spirit Drain that I got hit with earlier was pretty devastating to our longevity here. Here comes another Bufudine, but we got the dodge this time. Ken should be able to deal some pretty good damage with Zeodyne here. And honestly, it might just be worthwhile to have Akihiko. Wait. That's weird. I have in my notes that he's immune to physicals, but I just realized Akihiko punched him earlier. Must be slash attacks that he's immune to. Not that it really matters a huge deal. Anyways, Junpei gets his Spring of Life proc, and then a slap from Leviathan should finish this fight out. Never mind. Well, there goes that. Oh no! Whoop, 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 whoop. Huh, that's weird. Why do I have it in my notes that this guy is immune to physicals? Ooh, that's okay, that's why we saved beforehand. I was just completely lost in my notes here. Like, I have no idea why I have it that he's immune to physicals. I must have been using a pierce weapon, and I guess he's immune to that. Well, regardless, hold on a second. You know how I was saying earlier you should never sleep on your opponents in this game because they can just surprise you and completely manhandle you? Well, that's a good demonstration of that. Unfortunately for the World Balance this time, it got a much, much worse turn order that allows me to exploit criticals against it. Again, I don't know why it's in my notes that this guy is immune to physicals. He is very clearly not immune to physicals. I don't know why I made that mistake there. Looking at all my stuff, he's not even immune to Pierce, so I don't know why I had that. It must have been a weird thing where my allies just were deciding not to attack him for whatever reason. Regardless, with another all-out attack, this guy should be finished off. That was really embarrassing, though. I was just zoned out completely and forgot I was on Rush. Had I just used a Ragnarok on him in the previous attempt, we would have won there. Oh well, these things happen. Great job! Only 2 left. It's all up to us. Let's do it. Yeah, I still gotta show you. But I do actually have an additional comment here to make for FES. I'm actually going to be leaving Tartarus at this point and coming back on the 4th. That'll mean that nobody will be tired from this expedition, since nobody has actually hit tiredness yet, and I can come back in with the Great Condition, and I should be able to finish off the rest of, this section of Tartarus, or the rest of Adama, without having anybody deal with tiredness, and that'll be good for training up Abaddon. I made sure to register Abaddon before I got into this fight, just to keep his experience progress locked. I've been having some pretty slow fights just trying to get experience for this guy, which is why it would have been a good idea to get growth onto him. But that also would have forced more fusion. So he started at 41,000 experience. At 24,000 now. That should go really quick once we start getting into the end of area enemies for Adama. Business as usual with my portable setup. The only change I made was putting the spirit bracers on the FEMC just for that little bit of insurance in case things go wrong. Let's get into it.
This shadow is a formidable foe. Its arcana is justice.
Well, that should pose no problem to me. Unfortunately, he's next in the turn order, so we can't exploit any Thunder Rain crit shenanigans on this guy. I'm gonna scan him. I don't know why I had in my notes that this guy is immune to physicals, because that definitely is not the case. Regardless, let's pop over to Cert. We are, once again, going to have to, hope that our weaknesses get struck, because again, the FEMC is the only person who I can't really account for that at this point. That's the nice thing about Norn, and here we go. The Spirit Drain's annoying, but not the end of the world. Yeesh. Very annoying. Let's see here. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to have, since Aegis can't really do great damage to this guy, may as well make use of Dia Rahan there, why not? Nice thing about this version of the fight is that if I'm knocked down, so long as I don't get hit again for my weakness, I don't have to worry about this guy getting or rather, I don't have to worry about the FEMC losing her turn. I can still just pop off with Ragnarok.
Are you okay?
Speaking of popping off with Ragnarok, let's do so. Another unfortunate thing about lacking Akihiko is that I don't have reliable access to debuff, so there's only so much I can do to mitigate this guy's damage. So yeah, I really don't know why I had that in my notes, that this guy was immune to physicals. There must have been like some sort of confusing thing with the AI, where after I scanned him, he refused to attack him. Or maybe I just miswrote, I meant resistant to physical instead of immune. It was so long ago since I've done the practice playthroughs, it's hard to say. A lot of fights, I will admit, I do get caught off guard by some of the things in the fights, because one, on the practice playthroughs, I was generally a bit higher level, because I was exploring my options a bit more. I'm kind of suffering from a success in that regard in this LP. I'm just hitting these, yeah. Ooh, nice, thank you. I'm just hitting these fights with, in such a stronger position compared to how I was, or rather, I got that backwards. I'm hitting them in a weaker position because I understand the fights a lot better. I'm defeating them sooner, so that's kind of causing me to have different loadouts. And sometimes, a lot of the times, honestly, I beat the fight on the first try, so I didn't really get to see the full extent of what the boss was capable of. Just kind of the funny problems you run into while preparing for an LP like this. Oh my goodness. Yukari. We're not gonna have a repeat of what happened in the FES attempt, are we? No, thank you. Okay. Pretty good loadout for this fight, honestly. Worked very well here. And, of course, we've got our social link rank up in Persona 3 Portable. It's all up to us. Let's do it! Thankfully, this is a much faster advancement of the social link in this version, because they use the more conventional social link rank up that was introduced in Persona 4. Let's grab our restoratives here, 2 bombs of life. Honestly, not that important at this point. We could probably get by just fine without those. And a precious egg. Time for a reload battle. Alright, let's finally close out this video with one more reload boss fight. As you can see, we are set to unload with Theurgies here. Haven't really been using them during the exploration, so we're more than ready to just completely annihilate these guys with these. In fact, I think I'm going to have Koromaru immediately set up a power howling for us. Into the battle we go. So, let's see what we got here. We got the Overseer of Creation and Overseer of Creation. Sophie's choice here on who to attack, right? Well, regardless, let's get right into the power howling. I see no reason to delay. Honestly, I could probably also have Ken set up the Divine Intervention for us. But we'll see what these guys are actually capable of when it comes to attacking us. Let's go with the Vile Assault, just because we've got that power charge up there. Not huge damage for Ken, but hey, it's appreciable. Here comes the Makugan, which is a little bit threatening to Koromaru there. Bit unfortunate that they decided to get a defense buff going there. I wonder if I should bother to yeah, it probably would be worth my time to get rid of that, so let's see here. Do I have something with Ma Rakunda? I don't think I do. I've only got Debilitate as a form of debuff purge. That is something that you have to deal with, unfortunately. I'm wondering. You know what? Never mind. Let's just punch through that. We're gonna go with the Scarlet Havoc, and then I can possibly pass it over to Ken if we happen to get a 1 crit. He has Deikajah, so he can get rid of the defense buff on these guys. There we go, the critical that I was hoping for. Let's have Ken just purge that defense buff off of these guys, and then Aigis can go in to finish off with her Theurgy. Should deal some pretty good damage, honestly. Alright, you're out of there. And we've got maximum firepower for you.
Defeated. Good work out there. My persona has gained a new power.
Nicely done.
Well done on that victory. Keep up your diligence. You're approaching the 250th floor. You've come quite a long way. It hasn't been a full year since most of you joined Seas. You've all done wonderfully. I can't thank you enough for putting up with everything despite what you've had to go through. Ah, don't mention it! It would be funny to say ramen's on you. That's quite generous of you. Thank you. Those that we've lost are with us now in spirit. We will win. Everyone's future is in our hands. I can sense everyone's strength and resolve as we head into the final battle. And with that, we've got rank 5 of the Judgment Social Link. Hasn't been going up as much in Reload. Little disappointing, honestly. Alright, just keep dispatching the Gatekeepers like that. There are 5 left, so stay sharp. I'll also be prepared on my end in case you need me. We won't need you, Mitsuru. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be, in the next video, switching over to my team setup for the rest of the game, and it is not going to include Mitsuru. We'll get to that when we get to that. Ooh, Power Incense 3. Let's open up this chest here. Hopefully I have enough Twilight Fragments to get all of these. I'm hoping. Godspeed Shoes. Interesting. Let me actually look at them, Ken. See what these do for me. Again, I hate that. Just let me look at what the shoes do, please. Let's see. Godspeed Shoes. High physical evasion. Not that bad, actually. Yeah, kind of tempting to put that on the protagonist, honestly. But I'll think about that on my own time. For now, that's where we're going to call it a video. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope you see you in the next one. Until then, though, goodbye.
I don't dispute the doubts you've outlined, no. But it's my right to waste your time.